Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. My name is Bob Benham. I am your host, and I appreciate you checking in for another episode. It is a wonderful thing that you do check in. I appreciate it very, very much. And this week we are talking about Police Memorial Week. That's a very special topic to me because me being a retired police officer, it means a lot, uh, considering the number of officers that have been lost in the line of duty over the course of the many years that police have been around. Um, it is a very moving experience, uh, and it is a very heartbreaking and very tough thing to go through when an officer is lost in the line of duty. It literally is like losing a family member when that happens. Um, it's just, it is truly devastating. Um, it's uh, in the time that I was an officer with Columbus, Ohio PD. Um, we lost, I believe, 7 officers in the line of duty um, during that time. Um, One of them was my classmate in the academy. We had about 3 years on at the time, and a little over 3 years, and he was shot and killed. It, it was literally a 1 in a million shot that the suspect was able to kill my classmate. And then after I retired, um, in the last few years, there was a former partner of mine. Um, we worked together on a precinct, and we worked the same. We worked a paddy wagon together, and great officer, great man. Just we had a lot of fun together, working together. He he was just a great person, and he was with the SWAT team, and the suspect got off another one of those 1 in a million shots. He was looking through the porthole out of the armored vehicle, and the suspect shot, and it went through the porthole and got the officer right in the eye and killed him. Um, Very, very heartbreaking and devastating. Um, that those two, for me personally, were just very, very hard. Um, Anytime though you lose an officer in the line of duty, um, it's heartbreaking, devastating, um, and it's literally like losing a family member because it is police officers are literally family. Um, you work together 8 hours a day, so 1/3 of your day you're together, and you learn about each other. You learn about each other's families, um, and you just develop a bond with each other because you it's just natural. And so that way when you walk into a run, uh, and you just have a knack for knowing how each other's going to respond in situations together. And so it's a very uh, um, special uh, uh, bond between officers. And once you retire, um, and I've been retired this year. It'll be 22 years in September. Um, Retirement is tough because you want that bond, and you yearn for that bond, and that uh, um, daily um, companionship with your fellow officers, and that's gone. And you also yearn for that uh, going out and helping the public, and all that stuff, and that's gone. And when you have it taken away from you, literally uh, in a minute or second, like in my case, when I had my stroke, um, it was a life changing experience. I mean, my whole life in that in that second was literally thrown up in the air, and I had no idea, zero idea of how the outcome was going to be. Excuse me. And so it. I mean, I didn't know the recovery was going to go. Um, I did not know how my survival was going to go, if I was going to survive, where the stroke was located. There was so much about it that was very much unknown, um, and it was very hard. Um, but I remember once I was transferred to um, the one hospital, the main hospital downtown, and word started pouring out that I had suffered the stroke. Um, there were officers that came to see me in the emergency room, um, and to show support. And I was very grateful, and I can remember a lot of the ones that came and were there. And that day when they did that, it meant a lot. It meant it meant the world. Um, that obviously when they did it, when they were on duty, because it was the word was being passed around um, by radio dispatchers. They were, because they had gotten the word, and they were sending messages to the on duty officers, and so they were uh, that knew me, and so they were coming in to say hi and see how I was doing. Um, so that brotherhood, sisterhood, uh, with each other. It's real. It very is. It's very much real. Um, and it truly is a thin blue line. Um, the one thing that we forget in this country is there's only what we have 335 or so million people in this country. Um, and we have right around, I think, 800,000 police officers. That's it to to help fight crime in this country. That's all. Um, and they talk about the thin blue line. That is razor thin. When you have 800,000 police officers trying to enforce the law for 335 million people, they are overworked, overburdened, underpaid. Um, and I'm speaking from experience on this. Um, it's just a ridiculous situation. And then you have Democrats and liberals literally declaring war on the police. And the first one that just absolutely just declared war, just outright declared war, was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. That man is the devil, is evil, 100%. For the things he said about police, he's the one that started the whole thing rolling. And God, I hope the Lord takes care of him in the ways that he needs to be. Because from the time he just absolutely blasted that one officer, and then that ridiculous beer summit. Uh, oh my goodness. I that moment was I knew, I absolutely knew from that moment that the war was on. And I mean, it had been declared basically before that, but it was in an underhanded way. You had the Clinton administration filing all these ridiculous consent decrees on major cities, with them saying that there was a pattern and practice of civil rights violations against these police departments and using excessive force, um, or illegal searches, illegal seizures, this, that, the other. And it was all lies. All lies. Um, I remember they filed lawsuit against the city of Columbus, of course, and um, this was, oh gosh, I believe 1995, 96, somewhere in there, and our chief told the DOJ to F off. And back then, our division was handling somewhere around, oh, I want to say close to around 700,000 calls a year. We had about 1,400 officers doing that. Um, and if I remember correctly, there was only like over a 4 or 5 year period, they had cited like 30 some crazy 35 or so complaints. And the chief asked them if when they investigated it, did they uh, speak to the officers that were involved in the complaints and the chain of command and anything like that? And the DOJ said no. And he said, well, you didn't conduct a proper investigation then. Get out of here. Which is true. That's not a proper investigation. It's one-sided. It's not, and then you come in to file a complaint and file a lawsuit against the city on a one-sided complaint. You can't do that. You didn't complete a proper investigation. You don't know the whole story and the circumstances. And the complaints that they were citing had been investigated by the Division of Police, and all the officers were exonerated because the people lied. And it was proven they had lied. So, here's the DOJ coming in with complaints from people that lied and trying to file a lawsuit, and did file a lawsuit against the city based on that. What? But anyway, we ended up the officers ended up in the union. We had extra money taken out of our pay to pay for attorneys to fight this, and we won. We beat the DOJ, and that consent decree was never enforced in Columbus. So And basically, it was because of the strength of our union and the strength of our contract that we had with the city that prevented the DOJ from doing that. And what it basically boils down to is that the DOJ wants to take over all of the police in all these major cities, because then it's federalized. The federal government now is in charge of the police departments. So at some point in time, they can say, hey, the chief's relieved, blah, 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 blah. We are now in charge. And I'm here to tell you, that's not going to be a good thing. You look at all these other countries that have federales for, like down in Mexico, they got federal police. You got federal police all over. And It's not good. I mean, I've been to countries where you had federal police standing on street corners with machine guns, literally machine guns, and that was unnerving. Um, I saw it in Mexico. I saw it in the Netherlands. Um, it, it's whew, you see that and you go, God, I'm glad I live in the United States. Um, it is a culture shock when you see that. Um, but this war on the police, you see all these ambush attacks on officers now. Um, when I was an officer, yes, you saw some. Um, it occurred, but it wasn't prevalent. Now it's prevalent. You see it happening quite often. And that in itself is extremely disturbing. It just makes it makes life it has changed my thinking about life. And it makes me feel that I can't go anywhere unless I'm armed. I have to be armed now. Um, Fortunately, there is a federal law that allows retired officers to be armed. Um, and it allows the officers to be armed across state lines, um, which is a good thing. Um, that was passed back after 9/11. For those of us that remember it, these kids have no idea. Anybody that's 25 and under has no, or not, basic 14 and under, I should say. Well, no, I was right. 25 and under. They have no idea what 9/11 is and how devastating and um, how wrong and uh, how much death and destruction and bad it really was, because now you see these same 25 and under year olds sitting there demonstrating and rioting and all that in favor of terrorists in Gaza, in favor of Hamas, in favor of the Houthis. It is disgusting to see that. I want to go to these universities and knock some heads off over that. That is just crazy. And these parents, why the hell aren't they sitting there knocking their kids' blocks off? I don't understand it. It's I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. It's like, what are you thinking? And to support terrorism. terrorism. Oh, wow. I mean, you have absolutely no clue to what these people are. If you went over there and stepped foot in Gaza, they would take you hostage or kill you in a flat second. They don't want you there. These they have no clue to what Islam is and what Islam stands for. Islam, you are either Islamic or you are a slave of Islam or you are dead. That's it. That is how Islam operates. And that's why they do all this terrorism. That's why they kill all these people, because that is what they are about. They don't care about us. Not one bit. There's no negotiating with them. There is no anything with them. Their primary goal is to take over, and that is it. Period. That is what the Quran says. Islam or nothing. And these young kids today are just flat clueless. And thanks to our wonderful education system, I should say lack of education system, this is what it's turned out. Because it's all about indoctrination and not for the good. It's for the evil. Just look at what's happening, people. It's not good. Evil is taking over. That's what's happening. Evil is taking over. And that's why you see so many police officers are being killed in the line of duty. The numbers of police officers killed in the line of duty a year, it's crazy. I think it's like 140 something a year. That's nuts. There shouldn't be that many. I don't know how many thousands are injured a year. I know I was part of that. Thousands of injuries a year. I can't tell you how many times I was fighting a suspect because I worked the inner city for the first 7.5 years I was on. And it was constant. They were always challenging you, taking a swing at you, You try to put the handcuffs on, the fight was on. And it never, ever looks good when you're trying to handcuff somebody. When you're putting your hands on a suspect, it never looks good. It will never look good. That's how it is. That's just the way it is. But there's a big problem in this country when it comes to parenting, educating. There's no respect, no accountability. And there's one word, one simple word that would take care of all of this. Comply. All you have to do is comply. Comply with what the officer says. Tells you to put your hands behind your back, put your hands behind your back. It's no big deal. They put the cuffs on you, put you in the car, take you down, take you to jail, whatever they're going to do. It's over in a few hours. You're back out on the street. No big deal. Because they're going to let you post bond anyway. And the bond's not going to be real high. They've proven that time and time again. So just comply. It's not going to take long. You'll be back out. And you're not going to get hurt. You're not going to get shot. You're not going to get struck or anything like that. You're not going to get taken down to the pavement or wherever. You're going to stand there, have your hands cuffed, and put into the car. That's it. Don't argue with the officer. Don't argue about the charges. Don't argue about nothing. Just comply. The place for the arguing is the court. That's where it's done at. That's why it's set up that way. That's where you go in and you take on the officer. You say, no, that's not what, I don't believe the charges are correct. This is why. And you have an attorney, and you have that attorney argue on your behalf. It is, unfortunately, it is so far the other way, where now everybody wants to argue with the officers. Everybody wants to pull that arm away when he goes to handcuff. Everybody wants to fight. Everybody wants to run their mouths and argue. Everybody wants to fail to comply. And there's a charge literally on the books. I believe it's still there. At least it was when I was working. There was a charge that was called failure to comply. First-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 6 months in jail. And I've used that a few times. But nobody, it's just insanity now. It's pure insanity. Mental health, I talked about this being Mental Health Awareness Month. on my last podcast, and I said that this country has gone so far in that direction, um, that it's just it it's really insane. It really is, because people today think that they can just do whatever, and they pretty much can do whatever and get away with it, and that's unreal to me. There's just such a lack of accountability and responsibility. And that's just one of those things that I cannot fathom, and something that I know needs to be put back into what we do and how we live. Because if it doesn't, we're doomed as a society and as a human race. And in all reality, I feel that the human race is doomed as it is, because we've been poisoning ourselves with all these food additives. We've been poisoning ourselves with all these drugs to counter what they've been poisoning us with, these food additives. These food additives have never been tested to see how they would affect us. And I believe it's the root cause of the obesity problem. I believe that firmly. All this, get out and exercise. Nah. Done that. I haven't lost nothing. Doesn't matter. It's because of the crap they've put in our food. Growth hormones in everything. You can't tell me those growth hormones that they place in the beef, in the whatever, chickens and whatever, does not have an effect on you, because it does. You can't tell me this stuff. The grass they eat now, they're putting stuff in that to make it grow faster. The pesticides, all this crap. Hello, we're eating poison. I just don't understand. I have said it for years, and it's now finally being talked about. I've said it among family and friends for years. And a lot of them thought I was crazy, uh, because of what I was saying about all the chemicals and stuff that are in our food, that chemicals that you can't even pronounce. Um, and then all these drugs. I mean, every time you turn around, they're prescribing you on something. And I am on literally 27 prescriptions. Me. And I hate that fact. I don't know how or what I need to do to get off some of those. Um, It's crazy. I just know it's crazy. I just this whole medical garbage. Um, it's all a scam. 100% scam. You can't tell me they don't have cures for things like HIV, cancer, all that stuff. They have the cure. They have the way to get rid of it, but they can't do it because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that if they put that out there, it would wipe that industry out. They can't do it. So they continue with the fraud. Insurance companies, the amount of money that they charge for insurance, and then what they pay out to these doctors for visits versus what you would pay out of pocket if you didn't have insurance. It's insane, the difference. Absolutely insane. But they make it to the point where, I mean, it's literally you're forced onto you have to take the insurance. You can't, there's no way around that. And it's just literally, I mean, what it's, everything is literally set up to hurt us, to go as deep as they can into our pockets and take as much money from us as they can. It's set up to make us poor and reliant on government handouts and whatever else. It's pure legalized robbery. And I know it doesn't take much, and it's not rocket science to figure it out. All you got to do is just look at all this. Look at the TV advertising. All you see is drug commercials. And every time you turn around, there's some kind of new weird condition being advertised. And then there's a new drug coinciding with that weird condition. Why? And then, I mean, it is nuts. And the amount of money, if you ever get the chance, and I've done it, if you ever get the chance, go onto their website and see how much that drug costs. You will flip out. And then they have these little, well, click on this to see if we can help with your drug costs. I did that. And most of the time they say, oh, no, you don't qualify. And they say, oh, if you have insurance, you'll get this discount, blah, blah, blah. And I don't qualify. Interesting. It is the I just want to go. It's just have a way to just shut down all of it and start from scratch. We need to start from scratch. There is absolutely no way that it should be the amount of money it is. No way. No way. And the rest of the industry, like all these manufacturers of the equipment, like MRI machines and CAT scans and all that stuff, they are taking advantage of it by because of all the money that's there. They're charging all this crazy amount of money make this equipment, so that way they can get paid their billions of dollars for this equipment because they know they can charge it because of the amount of money that these hospitals are getting from the insurance companies because they're overcharging. Well, hell, it's like when Kamala Harris was talking about giving a $25,000 credit for first-time home buyers when they purchase a home. Well, what's that going to do? It's going to raise the price of the house by $25,000. You're going to go walk in. You're going to go over to look at the home price, and it's going to jump by 25 grand. I mean, how stupid is it? I mean, it's not rocket science. That's how it works. Why do you think these universities charge as much money as they do uh, f- for their tuition? Because they started these stupid student loans. These student loans started, and now the tuition jumped. Oh, that's free money. I saw that back 40 years ago when I went to college. Oh, we can charge more money now for tuition because they'll go get a student loan and we'll get paid. Yeah. People, we have let ourselves get scammed to death. And the politicians, they don't care because their pockets are being lined by it all. Look what Doge is finding out. Look at how many scam programs, government programs there are, and where the money's going. That is insane. Right under our noses. That stuff is supposed to be watched, and it's not. Nobody cares. Why? And then you got the Democrats that sit there and they're supporting these terrorists that are being deported. They're supporting government waste and abuse and fraud. Uh, they're supporting uh, oh, supporting these poisons going into our food. What the heck is wrong with these people? I mean, how do you support that stuff? And it's all because they hate President Trump. So whatever he proposes, they're automatically going to go against it whether it's morally right or wrong, whatever, it's okay, he's doing this, we don't want it. Even if it's going to hurt the American people and it's going to hurt the United States of America. How insane is that? How do you explain that? How? You can't. And anybody that identifies as a Democrat, I'm sorry, but you also endorse that crap. Unless you come out and say, I don't support that, not one bit, you are supporting it. You're in favor of it. I get accused of being supportive of all this garbage with Donald Trump. They say, "Oh, well, you're a Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I do not have a declared party. I've declared myself a conservative." So you can't pin that crap on me. And if there's something that President Trump is doing that I don't think is right, I will speak out against it. I have done that before. Not since I've had my podcast, but if it happens while now that I've had my podcast, you will hear it. I'm not, like I said before, if you are going to hear what's in here for me and up here, that's it. I speak from the heart and from the mind. No scripts, no notes. What you're getting is what is coming to my mind at the time. So it is what it is. At some point, who knows? Maybe I have to go to a script or not a script, but maybe notes to keep me on track with something, maybe to talk about different subjects stay on topic with subjects or something. I don't know. Who knows? I think right now I'm liking what I'm doing. I think it's honest. It's forthcoming. So if you like it, good. If you don't, I'm sorry. But this is who I am. And with that, I guess, I think we're going to head off the air for now. And try to come up with something more, maybe I would like to do something more positive, more, I don't know, figure something out. I don't know. Got to come up with something good rather than talk about something about the idiots and stuff that are going on. I'm getting tired of talking about that junk. Maybe I can come up with something good. And with that, time to sign off. Thank you very much for listening and checking in. And I hope everyone has a great week. And please watch your backs. Things out there are just not good. Uh, you see so many people being randomly attacked and things like that, um, especially in the big cities and stuff, and it is not good. Yeah, that's just not good. We really need to do something to strengthen uh, our police, to make it where they can do their jobs. When I was working, uh, it was such a proactive time where we could actually fight crime and do something and get these idiots off the street. Um, I remember driving down the neighborhood and um, they saw us coming. Man, they ran if they were up to no good. And uh, then things started changing and they would stand on the street corner and flip us off. And that's when I knew we were in trouble. So, but anyway, with that, please take care of yourselves, watch your backs. Um, God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me do my thing. And please, like I said, just watch your back and if support the police and remember the fallen officers this week. And God bless the United States of America. Take care. And until the next time, bye bye.